Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's time to talk about dogs, and welcome to another live show on Saro Dog Training. Hope you're doing well. Let me just make sure that everything is working and we're on and everything is sounding and looking good. All right. Okay, welcome to another live show. Hope you're doing well and feel free to ask any questions that you have. If you're new here in this channel, my name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer and also coach dog owners. And I focus on training dogs using play and praise reward system without the use of treats, aversive tools, methods, and force or domination. We'll talk about that a little bit long in a moment. But also, if you're um, repeat viewer of the channel, welcome back. Thank you for being here. In this channel, as I said, we talk about training dogs without the use of treats, force, or domination, which I want to expand on that a little bit. But before that, I want to just to remind you, if you're watching this as a replay, feel free to ask your questions in the comments area. And if you're live, you can ask your questions, dog related questions, in the chat area. And I wanted to also bring you up to some updates and new information. Just to remind you that I am on Rumble as well. Rumble is another outlet, video outlet as well, that you can go ahead and subscribe there as well. I just transferred some of the videos over there, but I'm going to add some new videos in just directly and exclusively for Rumble. So if you know what Rumble is, and if you are a Rumble member, don't forget to come and follow me on Rumble as well. I will be posting some exclusive videos and programming on Rumble itself. The other news that I wanted to share with you is YouTube is just um, launching this, which is the podcast section of YouTube. I just asked a question from all my uh, community members: if you listen or you watch podcasts, and there were few good results. Looks like you like both to listen and watch podcast. So I'm bringing podcast back to YouTube. For now, it's called the Perfect Pooch Podcast with Saro, a holistic approach to dog training and wellness. I hope you can also join me on the podcast itself. There are some podcast already uploaded on that section of YouTube, the podcast YouTube. Feel free to go ahead and listen to those. Um, they're pretty good source of information. So today I wanted to kind of expand on, training dogs without the use of treats, aversive tools, force, or domination. There is a kind of a war going on between dog trainers now. Uh, I don't know if you have noticed or if you're aware of it or not, but there is a war between, kind of a war going on between positive dog trainers and dog trainers that they call them balance dog trainers. So there, there used to be few kinds of dog training methods, and this happens all the time. Two of them that are very uh, standing out at the moment, and also are um, kind of more popular, are the positive dog training and also balance dog training. Let me just quickly check over here. Let me see. Yeah, should be on. We should be on. Okay. So yeah, there are these two types of dog trainings, right? The positive dog training and balanced dog training. Now, what is positive dog training and what is balanced dog training? First of all, positive dog training is dog training that only uses positive reinforcement to dogs, right? Sounds good. Sounds uh, fine and sounds okay, right? You're just dealing with a dog from positive form of approach. Now, balanced dog trainers, they tend to use both positive and negative forms of approach to dog training. And that sounds okay and normal as well, right? So let's dig in a little bit deeper. Uh, so, positive dog trainers, first of all, I'm not going to name like dog trainers' name because I don't want to get involved with that, and I'll tell you why, and you'll find out why. The positive dog trainers, they only use positivity. They never say no to a dog. They never use negative reinforcement. They never punish a dog. They only reward the dog when the dog does something positive. That's basically it. Positive dog training. That's what it is. Uh, and what happens there is that positive dog trainers they they don't like negative in the balanced dog trainers because balanced dog trainers they also because they believe that dog training should be uh, included including both positive and negative reinforcement. So they believe that balanced dog trainers they believe that you should be punishing a dog and you shouldn't be just using positive only reinforcement for a dog. So positive dog trainers they don't like balanced dog trainers, and balanced dog trainers don't like positive. Now, my approach of dog training is a bit different. That's why I don't have to deal with those because um, I don't I'm not in the same category. I would say so. I don't have in a way competition. I'm not competing with them because I'm not using the same style or method of dog training as they use. I don't use treats and I don't use force or domination. So I'm not in the same category, right? I use play and praise reward system, which we're going to come back to it. Uh, so, what is wrong with positive dog trainers? I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with that approach. You wait until your dog does something properly, something correct, something right, and you reward it as soon as it does. Seems easy, seems simple, seems doable. The only thing is that you're always waiting to for the dog to give you the positive behavior that you're expecting. The other problem is that you're using too much of treats. Positive trainers tend to overuse treats to reward dogs. And that for me is kind of a problem. And you'll say, what is the problem with using too much treat? Or what's wrong with using treats? Well, the problem is that when we use treats, when you use treats, you start depending on treats. The dog start depends on treats, and you start using more and more because the more you give, the better results probably you're going to get. And it's a never ending cycle. You are always providing treats. And the problem with dog training using treats or so-called positive dog training is that you're you're supposed to fade it out. You're supposed to fade out the treats, but it doesn't happen. In most cases, dog owners they are not able to phase it out. So what happens is that many dog owners they depend and rely on treats forever and ever, and that causes a lot of health issues plus a lot of um, I would say uh, behavioral issues to develop. So that's my take on, I would say, positive dog training. I do encourage dog owners to approach dog training from that point of view, but balanced dog trainers on the other side. Now, what is the problem with balanced dog trainers? Balanced dog trainers, they use both positive and negative. But the problem is when they're using the negative reinforcement, they're using it in an extreme way. Now, for some people, what is extreme? Anything can become extreme. Dog trainers using balanced dog training, they say you dog trainers who are using positive dog training, they're using treats to the extreme. So that becomes extreme. So yes, dog training using treats becomes extreme. On the other side, balanced dog trainers, they're using a lot of tools, aversive tools, a lot of aversive methods to correct and punish the dog. Because in their system, they have to be able to provide negative reinforcement to a dog as well. So they believe that the only way that you can train a dog and teach a dog is using both positive and negative, which I think it's a good thing. I believe in that too. You have to provide a dog both positive and negative. Life is um, life is better when you experience both positive and negative for both animals and humans and every creature in the world. But the problem lies in balanced dog trainers when they use extreme forms of aversive tools and aversive methods to deal with negative behaviors or allowing the dog to experience uh, negativity. So what I mean by that is that extreme forms of methods of uh, using tools or gadgets, it's not a good idea psychologically as well. Now you're going to say, but anything can become extreme, right? Anything can become extreme. But my problem is that when we use tools, including shock collars, choke chain collars. they call them e-collars. That's a softer word for shock collar. It's a shock collar, or prong collars, or um, any collar or any tool that can cause harm to your dog. It's a problem. I mean, look at that. That's a, both it's sad and funny picture. The shock collar is bigger than his head, but yet he's wearing a shock collar, right? And poor guy has to deal with that pain and discomfort of wearing a shock collar. I mean, look at that, poor guy. Okay, so I don't want to, get into those details, but balanced dog trainers, the problem that I have with balanced dog trainers is that they use extreme ways of forms of negative reinforcement. And most of these trainers or so-called professionals, that they claim that shock collar is a good thing, if you use it properly, it's a good thing. And if you know how to use it, you're not going to harm the dog, and you should be using it. You can use it. Um, Most cases, they say the dog is to that level that is the last chance, and I'm the last dog trainer for this dog, in the last choice. If I can fix this dog is going to be put down, and because of that, I want to change the dog's life, and I'm going to use shock collars or force or aversive method and all that. But the problem for me is that if you have a dog, if you have a normal dog, I don't think we need to use tools and gadgets to train that dog or change his behavior. There's more humane ways of dealing with that issue. One of them is just letting that dog be. If the dog, for example, is reactive to humans or is reactive to dogs or birds or cats, simply the solution would be that we don't put that dog in situations like that that is reactive. If it's really to that point that is the last choice, I'd rather allow the dog just to not to get into that situation and live a comfortable life than being involved with the environments and situations that has to get into that level that is extreme, and then you're depending on tools and gadgets to correct this dog. So overall, I believe balanced dog trainers, they're overdoing it. They think they are miracle workers. They think that they are heroes of this story, and that's the only way to deal with it. And I don't think that's the only way, right? I don't 100% agree with positive dog trainers, and I don't 100% agree with uh, um, balanced dog trainers, unfortunately. And that is why I don't get involved with them, because I don't rely on tools, gadgets, and tools and aversive methods of dog training. What I do, I focus on this. I focus on providing my dog's daily 5 essential needs. Take a look at it, think about it. Let me know if you have any idea what I'm talking about. You may have heard me and see me explaining this, but basically, what it is, if you have a dog who has extreme forms of behavioral issues, you don't need to rely on tools and gadgets and aversive tools and methods to fix it. And by the way, I'm going to get into the question Q&A as well. Just wanted to uh, bring this up and explain this part as well. So I don't depend on tools or gadgets. So treats, I don't depend on treats. I don't depend on shock collars, aversive tools or methods. I don't depend on things. But I, I use, I use toys. I use ball. I use dog toys to play with dog. It's not aversive. The tool that I'm using. I use leash too uh, to train the dog, just to have a control of the dog. It's not aversive. The problem starts when the tools or the method that you're using it becomes aversive. It becomes painful and becomes a source of pain and feeling uncomfortable for the dog. That's when the problem starts. So if you focus on rather than tools, you focus on method and approach and figure out how can I improve this dog's life, whether they have behavioral issues or not. You want to improve your dog's life, and the way you improve your dog's life, so you at the end you're not going to be relying or depending on tools or gadgets or aversive tools or method, is to first of all prevent, and second of all, even if you have a dog who has behavioral issues, the only way that you can help that dog is improve its life. And the way you improve its life is by provide proper amount of exercise, proper amount of training, proper amount of socialization, good care, and a lot of affection for that dog. And I mean, not extreme forms of affection, but they need affection as well. Those dogs are suffering from some form of lack of being loved. That's why they're being extremely uh, aggressive or extremely behaving. They're not being fed proper food, for example, or they haven't improved their social skills. The reason a dog is reactive, for example, to another dog or a squirrel or cat or human is because they are lacking social skills. We have to improve those social skills. And how do you improve the social skills? With proper training that doesn't require aversive tools and methods, and also proper amount of exercise. But that's the formula. That's the way, in my opinion, you approach dealing with behavioral issues in dogs, right? And not in a way that you are depending on only positive method of dog training, which is just treats, or balanced dog training, which is requires you to use or be dependent on some form of aversive tools or method. Now, if any other dog trainer happens to be watching this non-popular YouTube channel and wants to discuss this with me in person, I'm open to give you the platform and opportunity to talk to me and explain your side of story and the way why you're approaching this dog training method, the way you are doing it, without being, aggressive, without challenging each other, or without uh, making each other uncomfortable. We're just gonna talk. You're welcome to come and talk on my channel. We can do a video call, record it, and let people benefit from that as well. So the invitation is open to any dog trainer who's willing to discuss about it. So that's my 2 cents about the dog training world that is happening at this moment. You know, positive dog trainers are against balanced dog trainers, and they're not happy with each other, and they're arguing and discussing this matter over their channels. I'm not getting involved with that because I'm not part of them. I don't use positive dog training, or I don't use balanced dog training. I use a dog training method which uses uh, play and praise as a reward system, right? It's unique. It doesn't exist anywhere else, right? It doesn't it doesn't require you to um, depend on tools or gadgets. It empowers you to build a powerful relationship with your dogs through a proven and unique dog training method. And basically, that's my goal. You know, most dog owners, they're stressed and ashamed, embarrassed to be with their dogs in public, and that's because their dog is misbehaving, is not behaving properly, right? So my job is to coach you and help you to have peace of mind and have fun with your dog, and get a dog that obeys and listens to you all the time. Meanwhile, you're building a solid bond with your dog, right? And the way I do that is it's not just 5 minutes consultation, just like this, or you know, asking you to register for a course that finishes in few weeks or months. It's a program that you work with me for a lifetime. A dog Owning a dog is a lifetime story, right? And dealing with dogs is something that we have to deal with it throughout our lifetimes, their lifetime as well. So my program doesn't expire within a few weeks or so. You become part of the family, and I coach you every day if necessary, and help you to become a educated dog owner who has a good solid bond with his dog, and it knows what it's supposed to do, and it's happy, and it's fun to train that dog. We use, you know, dog training without the use of treats, aversive tools, force, or domination. It's a lifetime program. You get weekly coaching calls with me every week, right? And there's a video library that you can go and learn on your own and your own speed, right? So all you have to do is to see if you're going to qualify for this program to work with me one on one, is to set up a free video call to discuss the details furthermore and see if we match and we can work together. All you have to do is go to my website and register and sign up for that free video call, and we get going and we get started. So let me start with the questions today. If you have any questions, by the way, ask them in the chat area. And if you're watching this after a replay, when it's a replay, just ask the questions in the comments area. Ricardo, I have a 6-month-old beagle. Lemon is his name because of his two-tone color of brown and white only. I have a hard time teaching him the basic behavior. I always trained him with just hand gestures. There's a follow-up. Should I use more treats to encourage him to obey me and do what I want to do, or just do what I'm doing? When he do what I want him to do is just to pat him or give him a hug, then giving him treats. That's a good question. So let me expand on that. So, first of all, you're saying you're using hand gestures, treats, and hugs and praise and all that, right? Which are good, which are again positive, which is good. Hand gestures are, in my opinion, uh, we call them hand signals. When we are training a dog, for example, formal training a dog, we use three cues: name of the dog, we give the command, and the hand signal. So, for example, the hand signal for sit is this, for stay is this, right? For come is this. These are hand signals. So I do encourage dog owners to learn those hand signals and use those hand signals as well when they're training their dogs. But you have to do it properly. You have to be consistent. You have to be always doing the same thing. And one of the problems with beagles and treat training is that when you use treats to a dog, to a breed that is, first of all, foodie. So what that means is they're very food mode. I would say, food distracted. It's not that they're food motivated. They're distracted by food because they have a very strong nose. Their nose is always working, 24/7. Their nose is active. That's a part of their breed, right? So when their nose is very active, it's on 24/7 and it's very sensitive. Obviously, they smell a lot of food, right? They smell food all the time because food tend to smell really good. So they are food sensitive. They are always distracted by food, right? So just because they're distracted by food is doesn't mean that they are food motivated. After over 20 years of experience working with beagles myself, living with beagles and owning beagles and working with beagles, I've learned a few things, right? You can't mix food with training, with especially beagles, because when you do that, they're looking for food all the time, and then when you provide food and use food to train them, that even distracts them even more. And it becomes harder to teach or train them because they get distracted easily, especially that the food is around. So I would suggest to use as little or as much as possible not to use treats or food to train your beagle. The other side of the story is that when you have uh, beagles tend to have a lot of health issues as well. That's part of the breed as well. And when you add food into their daily activities, like a lot of food, like, I'm not saying don't feed them, feed your beagle, but when you overuse treats or food, it becomes a little bit more, I would say, extreme for a beagle, which will eventually lead to developing other kinds of health issues in your beagle. So I wouldn't suggest using treats to train your dog. Not saying don't give treats to your beagle, give treats, but be careful how much you're using. Um, Petting and praising your dog is much healthier. Beagles are easily trained. They're very playful, very easily trained. So use play and praise to train and reward your dog, your beagle. That would be my suggestion. Um, if you have a hard time teaching the basics, then probably you're doing it the wrong way. You're not 100% confident in what you're doing. You're not clear of what you're supposed to do. So therefore, your beagle doesn't learn. Uh, if you need a little bit of support, my program is ideal, could be an ideal program for you. You could be an ideal student for the program. I'm not sure. So that's why I suggest you to set up a free call with me. We can discuss a little bit more in details. There are certain things that I'm going to ask you to find out if you are the right person for the program. And there are certain questions that you can ask me to see if I am the right dog trainer for you and if the program is right for you. So if you're struggling, if you're having a challenge, if you're not getting the results that you want, definitely make sure to set up a call with me and we'll go from there. Hopefully, that will bring down the stress and anxiety that you have. Next question is from I Love Marcus. I have 6 months old Rottweiler and 11-year-old Staffy Lab. Puppy never nips or bites me, only does it when they are playing and I say enough and try to get him off my older dog. Is that normal? Yeah, if it becomes, something that is nonsense and it becomes too much for your 11-year-old dog, um, I would say yes, you can stop it. But most of the times, dogs they can have a good conversation physically and verbally with their with puppies, with their own kind. They can communicate that better than you can. So I would say let them deal with it on their own. But if you see that your senior dog, 11-year-old dog, it's really getting annoyed and it's stressing your uh, senior dog, and there's a chance that your senior dog may harm your 6 month old Roddy, your puppy, then I would separate them. But in most cases, uh, you know, older dogs, they're the best teachers for puppies. So I would allow that to happen as long as it is safe and if I feel comfortable that yes, my senior dog, like if your Staffy Lab cross, if you trust him 100%, you know that your puppy is in good hands, let them deal with it. That's a better way of approaching this behavior. It's a natural behavior, normal behavior for puppies and dogs in general to nip and bite each other, but they learn from that, right? So it's a good idea to allow them to happen. Uh, this is a good question that reminds me of in the beginning of this uh, show I was talking about using aversive tools or methods to train dogs. You know, most dogs they will use aversive tools, not tools, aversive methods to correct the dogs and all that. Uh, but the thing is that is happening between a dog and a dog. A dog and a dog can have a clearer communication than a human with a dog. Uh, so when we are talking about aversive methods of dog training, most some dog trainers who are balanced dog trainers or dog owners who are using aversive methods and tools to train their dogs, they say, oh, that's what the normal dogs do to the other dogs, right? But that is something that you have to understand that that is a conversation that is happening between a dog and a dog. A dog and a dog, when it's happening between a dog and a dog is going to give a lot of cues and uh, information to the other dog that I'm just about to, get physical with you if you don't back away. There's lots of hidden conversation that is happening between two dogs before they become aversive. And most of those are the right way of dealing with that problem between dog and dog. But the problem is between human and the dog, when we are dealing with the human and the dog, there is lots of hidden conversation that the dog probably is giving to the human, and human is not hearing and is not seeing and is not reading those cues. And whether you're a professional dog trainer or not, when you use aversive methods or aversive tools, you are using it the wrong way at the wrong time, no matter how professional you are. Because as a dog owner, as a dog trainer, professional dog trainer, any professional dog trainer, you cannot be 100% sure of what is happening. You cannot say, I exactly understand why that dog is doing that and what that dog needs, and that's why I'm using this tool or method to deal with this dog. You cannot. You're not a dog. You cannot read dog. You do not speak dog. Nobody does that. So when you use tools to deal or methods, aversive tools or method to deal with that situation, you're kind of guessing. It's not 100% sure movement or act is a guess. So therefore, I don't suggest using aversive methods or tools because we don't know if that was exactly the right moment that we had to do that. We don't know it. We haven't got to that point that we are clearly able to communicate with dogs, about dogs, or of dogs. We're not there yet. Our our education and our research and study hasn't got to that point. There is those subtle cues and communication signals that dogs send to humans that most of the time, not only that we don't see it, we don't see them, we don't know even they exist, those signals. And the dog may be giving us those signals, and yet we're not listening, right? And then let's say at that moment that the dog was giving those subtle cues or subtle communication signals to us, and at that moment we hit the shock collars button, or we use an aversive tool method to correct that dog. And the dog is going to say, hey, I was giving you the signals and you shocked me, you zapped me, you forced me, you punched me, you pulled me, you did this. Next time I'm not going to give you those signals anymore. And next time is going to be all of a sudden your dog or any dog can be reacting without giving signal, and you're going to say, hey, this is unpredictable dog now. Yes, it was and it is still. As I said, we don't know much about dogs, and it is unpredictable. Dogs are unpredictable, right? Because we don't know as much as we need to. As a dog professional myself, and many other dog trainers or so-called dog trainers, they will say, I know exactly what dogs are thinking and the language and body language and all that. I disagree with that. I worked and lived for 16 years with dogs, 24/7, and yet I don't understand them 100% because they're different species, they're different animals. They don't communicate the same way that me and you communicate to each other. They're animals, they're very unpredictable. I know something about dogs. All dog owners, they know something about dogs. All researchers who have devoted their lives to dogs, they know something about dogs, but they don't know everything about dogs. There's a lot of mystery still in dogs world. We are able to live with dogs in peacefully. They are very adaptable to our lifestyle. It's not that we went to their world, they came to our world. So they're adapting to our world. And when we use aversive tools or methods or even positive dog training, we're not 100% sure if we are communicating better or the best way with the dogs. Even me using play and praise reward system, it's not that I'm saying 100%, I'm 100% sure that it works. It works with most dogs. That's why I don't take all kinds of dogs in my program. Not everybody is welcome in my program. I choose the dogs that I feel I can help to come to my program. Um, that's the idea. You have to be able to tap into a certain dog, certain situation, right? Not all dogs can use the same method, and not all dogs can be fixed. Certain there are certain dogs that they have certain behavioral issues, and I know this one, and I know it because I see it. These dog owners, they, the dog owner, this family, they keep the dog at home. It's always inside of the house. It comes out only for to do its business and gets back in. That's how, in extreme ways, you deal with the dog. You provide a good quality as best as you can. You avoid putting that dog in a situation that can harm others or harm itself or harm anybody nearby, and just let it live because we love those animals, right? So we want to make sure that we are providing the best for that dog, and we're not relying on aversive tools or methods to address the behavior. I hope that makes sense. John is in the house. No worries. We're just getting started. Jean is in the house as well. So John and Jean are my students. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. Ricardo says, I'll do what you have suggested. Thank you very much, Saro. By the way, I'm from the Philippines. Thanks, sir. All right. Good to know. Good to know. It's good to know that my channel actually helps all over the world. I have students from all over the world. And John says, I will never use show color. Yes, that's the idea. You don't have to. You don't have to use. Mitai, hello, Sarah. I'm glad I'm able to hop on for a bit. Beagle male, 2 years old this July. Very good. 2 years old. You're almost past the hump, right? That's the age that I think that they start slowing down a little bit. A little bit. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. But that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about. It was basically dealing with dogs' behavioral issues, the options that you have, and two of the most popular uh, methods of dog training nowadays is positive dog training and balanced dog training. And you know, both of them, they get a lot of attention. But unfortunately, the balanced dog training, which uses both positive, negative, aversive tools and method, gets a lot more attention than positive dog training. Unfortunately, for some reason, I don't know. Um, he's an active pup, loves to hike. Very good, very good. I don't see Rue slowing down. Her birthday is 5.5 and almost 2. 5. Oh, uh, May 5th, almost 2 years old. They will eventually slow down, but the good thing about beagles is that they I don't want to say they slow down, but they mature enough that if they are active or they are uh, they're always happy, celebrating life to the fullest. And it's good to have that energy. It's good, it's healthy to keep beagle in that state of mind, happy, uh, good, positive state of mind. My 12-year-old beagle Harvey, um, he still acts like a puppy. He still has these moments that he acts like, 5 months old puppy, and he runs around and he has a good time. He starts goofing off, and it's always funny. There are certain. I'm sure you come across that too. There are beagles or there are dogs that they're funny without them knowing that they're funny. They do things that is funny, and they don't realize that they're funny. Let me know if you are experiencing that as well. Uh, but yeah, I would say it's good that they are staying that way, because that's life. Happy life, happy dog. It's good. They're always um, in a good mood, so you can take advantage of that and train them, play with them, and teach them new tricks, new behaviors, improve their behaviors, and all that. So just before I go, I want to remind you again that if you want to work with me one on one, all you have to do is set up a free video call with me that we can talk about the details. If you want to join my program, if you're an ideal student to join the program, if I'm the ideal coach and trainer for you, you can join the program, and all you have to do is set up a free call, which you can get it on my website as well, and the link in the description as well. Uh, you can apply it at the link below. Uh, it's on my website sarodogtraining.com. Also, uh, I have I've just started the podcast. These are the podcast that episodes that I have already done, but I'm gonna start a new one in soon. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so you will be able to listen and watch my podcast, upcoming podcasts. And just a reminder again as well that I am on Rumble. If you I just joined Rumble, if you are familiar with it, let me know. If you're not, Rumble is another form of outlet for videos. I have just started adding my videos there. If you want, go ahead and follow me on Rumble as well. I'm going to be posting videos exclusively for Rumble and nowhere else. So that's something interesting. If you want to see and content and learn content that you would seen in YouTube or anywhere else, only on Rumble. I would suggest you to go ahead and follow me on Rumble, subscribe or follow me on Rumble as well. Um, so there would be some exclusive content on Rumble. Um, Rumble alerts work more than YouTube alerts do. I didn't know that. Good to know. Yeah, I noticed that YouTube's notification doesn't work as good as it's supposed to. I don't know compared to others, but I didn't know that Rumble alerts you as better. That's good to know. That's one of the reasons I joined Rumble as well. All right, I think that's about it for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button right there. I think it's right there. And hit the notification icon as well. So you will be notified as soon as I go live or post a new video. And if you have any questions, leave those questions in the comment area. Give it a like to this video, share please. And I think that's about it. Until next time, have fun with your dogs.